You're listening to the New Old Heads podcast, shot live every Tuesday at twitch.tv/newoldheads and released every Thursday at noon via bringingdowntheband.com. The show is brought to you by Coleman Dental, Indie CD and Vinyl. Support the show directly by becoming a member at patreon.com/newoldheads. You are now watching, some of you are listening to episode 406 of the New Old Heads podcast. My name is Jay Moore, and I'm kind of filling in on the A-mic duties for my man Major 7. He's out handling business. It's all good. And you know what? Got to go ahead and just introduce the entire crew. I'll do it in my order and just whatever order is proper. Shout out my man Jay Diff. How you doing this fine evening?
Yeah, salutations. I'm perfectly fine.
Which is great. Right next to him is, I want to say, I last time I said he's not a special guest, but you know what? Anytime he comes in and helps us out, he is a special guest. Shout out to my man, brother to the night. How you doing, fam?
I'm swell. I'm back.
Okay.
Love me or hate me.
Okay, well, we'll find out by the end of the show. And of course, my man Lonegevity handling all the technical aspects of said podcast. How are you doing, sir?
Doing all right, man.
Okay.
Thanks for the intros.
Yeah, man. So, once again, it's been another fun-filled week in hip-hop.
For some reason, with all this Puffy stuff going on, people want Jay-Z to be in trouble for something. It's like, have y'all noticed that online?
Yeah.
This has nothing to do with him.
It doesn't, but I get why people are trying to do that, just because, not to say that it's fair, but, he got out clean from the whole R. Kelly scandal, and then, the age difference between him and Beyonce when they first got together.
He said 21 and older, let him him older.
But then, even with that, I mean, they tried to tie the whole thing with Foxy Brown. Like, they're trying to bring up old stuff with Foxy Brown. And Foxy has said, this is not true. Mm-hmm. And the thing is, apparently, I'll just say what I've seen. Like, Beyonce was with some other dude until she was, 21. Like people confuse the time when Jay-Z met Beyonce to when
they was kicking
it.
Yeah.
And so, but at the same time, if you dislike Jay-Z, anything will do.
Yeah, that's what they gunning for the most part, especially with the whole Lil Wayne Super Bowl fiasco, and it's Jay's fault. Well, Jay is up next because him and Puffy were in cahoots, and they're coming for him next, and blah blah blah. Nah, man, I don't see it happening. I figured that Jay-Z is smarter than that. The way he moves seemed like he wouldn't be involved in anything like that, but I mean, I could be wrong.
Hey, man, I don't put nothing past nobody.
I don't either.
No. I mean, because it was a year ago where Puffy was receiving the gold MTV Music Awards statue, and it was like, everybody was excited for his Love album, and I'm not going to act like, I didn't run, gotta move on. Like that, I really like that song.
No, that Love
I think
album
I still play that
decent.
record from time to time.
Yeah, and so, so like things can change very, very quickly. One of the things that I didn't realize until this week, because they say, R. Kelly, speaking of which, he was offered 10 years and in a plea deal. Mm-hmm. Took a trial, got 30.
Well, that goes back to the book smarts. He wasn't very, so.
I mean,
he couldn't read.
Yeah.
Now, do you think if Puff is offered, somebody says, look, man,
Without a doubt.
do you
He's
think?
telling.
No, but I'm saying, do you think if they offer him a deal, they say, look, you could either take this to trial or, all this can end right now for if you do 10 or 12 years. When you get out, you'll be 65. As opposed to if you take this to trial, you get 30, your last day is going to be in that prison.
Potentially. It is, I think he'd take the deal. I think he'd take the deal.
Yeah,
or
I think he would.
Well,
Too.
maybe no. I think the arrogance, because all of the stories that you hear about all of this stuff is coming from arrogance.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? So if you telling me I got a chance to get out and beat this all together,
right?
I'm gonna fight it.
He about
As
to tell
opposed to-
people, like you said before.
Yeah.
That was the right answer.
Yeah, he's telling on everybody.
He's about to get somebody up under the jail in his position, same way he did with Shine. Shine was not guilty of shooting that gun in that club.
Mm-hmm.
Right.
He might have shot the gun, but he didn't shoot nobody.
Everybody knows.
He didn't shoot the gun.
Nah, he didn't shoot
okay.
it.
Mm-hmm.
Everybody knows that Puffy was the one that was recklessly in that club situation, and Shine took the fall.
The thing is, whenever they talk about especially this ties into the no snitching culture that has been something that's been up and down as far as when we talk about things that happen in hip hop. A lot of times and we get this even if we don't want to admit it from quote unquote, real mafia culture.
Mm-hmm.
But the thing is when, someone like, someone at the top of the food chain in the mob, the reason he says that you can't snitch is because at the end of the day, the top dog doesn't have nobody to snitch on. Mm-hmm. He doesn't have anybody to tell on. So if they really believe Puffy, Diddy, Sean Combs, whatever, is at the top, if they can get him, he doesn't have any. What are you going to do? Tell on these little dusty dudes?
Yes. I don't believe the person at the top doesn't have anybody to snitch on. He can snitch on his whole conglomerate, everybody.
Yeah, somebody's running them plays for him. You know what I'm saying?
I mean, unless he can maybe somehow snitch on Clive Davis or some of these other industry people, the people who write his
taught
checks.
him the game.
Yeah. Because at the end of the day, there's a blueprint.
Yeah.
When you get to a certain level of fame that these guys are all following, but they're leaving holes in the situation and they're doing too much. Exactly. No lube intended.
It was plenty of lube.
Yeah.
1,000 bottles. If
a whole bunch. Yeah. On the wall. But there's literally a game plan, an outline that a lot of these big execs follow. Just like, remember how they used to say the night before the Grammys or whatever, there's this big party where
the Clive Davis party.
Weird happens.
Yeah.
Oh,
like the night
I don't know if it's Clive Davis's party, but
the night Whitney Houston died.
Yeah, and the party went on. Yeah,
they were saying that was a sacrifice or something. You know what I'm saying? But that could be some other
right.
But anyway,
the Illuminati.
Yeah, all of that. But anyway, he's running plays that were pretty much put in his hand. And he's sloppy with it evidently because.
And if all the other rumors are true, I mean, I think Clive Davis confirmed very similar lifestyle as well. You know,
yeah. So, there's some baby oil at Clive.
Yeah,
somewhere too. All I know is he went Puff Sean Combs. It's gone from lobster and steak every night, champagne, to bologna sandwiches, a couple Oreo cookies, and a 4-ounce juice.
He might be getting treated a little well in there though.
From what I've heard, as far as this federal detention center is concerned, he's basically in solitary. He's in solitary confinement. He has a blanket, no pillow. Basically, he has on the paper clothes that they give you in jail. So you can't hang yourself. Imagine going from the top of the top, the finest, 5-star everything.
Just treat people right. You know what I mean? You do right by people, you're not gonna run into this type of stuff, man.
You alluded to something before when you said ego.
Yeah.
So we're talking about Puffy here.
Yeah.
So I think everybody at this table has literally seen him ascend from being a backup dancer in Father MC's video that looked like
Stacey
a regular cat.
Before that.
Yeah, looked like a regular dude, to the record exec, to the label owner, to Mr. Ciroc, Mr. Shine John, Mr. Vote or Die. I mean, he's been very successful.
Yeah.
So imagine how he feels or how his mind works. It doesn't work the same anymore. It's not about, I'm going to be nice to people. He thinks he's being nice to people by putting money in your pocket. That's me being nice to you. You work for me. You should be happy you work for me. That's the type of he's on.
I don't know, man. It's just that once you get to that level, I guess you get that God complex.
Yeah.
And that's what it is, man. You know what I mean? You become too big, man. I think he believed he was too big to fail, man. Well, next thing you know,
we seen what happened when Cassie brought up that situation. It was settled in 48 hours.
And it really wasn't though. It wasn't. It took too long. Gone. Yeah, it took too long because if it was settled in 48 hours, none of this stuff would have been public.
No, I think that was just to set it up.
Yeah, no, that Cassie's situation.
Didn't he know about it before she made it public?
Apparently, but there's kind of a line: is this extortion or not? But at the same time, like we talked about a little bit like last week, her lawyer's very savvy about suing not just him personally, but suing all the multinational corporations that he's a part of. They wanted that settled quickly. Puff, with his arrogance, probably would have took a trial.
But Puff too, out his own mouth, has said before, if you got something against me, show me the receipts and you will be paid within 48 hours. He said that out of his mouth
on the Breakfast
years
Club.
ago.
He did say that.
So,
but he was talking about record company business. He wasn't talking about.
He might have been, but for that to come up and then it was settled.
Because I got the tapes.
That means there was receipts involved and he wanted it to go away. And then the video came out, a year later?
Yeah.
So, I mean, and that's not Cassie that dropped that tape.
Oh, no, that was CNN.
Yeah, CNN dropped that tape. So,
well, this is the thing, man. And I mean, this could extend to just a whole bunch of things. Mm-hmm. When you're famous and you're rich and you have a name and status, you don't have to force anybody to do anything. So when it does wind up being a situation where this is even being alleged, whether it be Deshaun Watson, whether it be Weinstein, Bill Cosby, and now Puffy, this is something that, like, you have a sickness, something in your brain that says this is okay. Because, like I said, when you're around famous people who have status, you see how I don't know how much y'all have been around it and seen it, but from what I've seen, just in my little time in the record industry, I've seen women just debase themselves on a regular basis just to get close to somebody who's a little bit famous, not even famous like Puffy is, and so, there's a lot of women out there that won't say no. The fact that you want to deal with the women out there who are trying to say no and you can't stop yourself from being around them, that just speaks to a level of sickness and arrogance. And so I don't know. We talked about this in great detail last week. Follow us on all of our socials and you'll see all that content. But yeah, it is what it is. We'll see. The story's not going anywhere.
You gotta tell him no.
Yeah, Diddy wants to party.
I watched real quick. I watched it was a TikTok by an SA person that was abused, who was flown out when she was 18, an Instagram model, and she detailed everything that she experienced when she went to one of those parties, and how you think from the outside looking in that you go to the Diddy mansion, right? She's like, no, it's like the entire neighborhood. Like, we went there, but I stayed with somebody else that was there, and it was like it happened from somebody else. Like it was like this big connected type of thing. And she was like, it was wild too, because it happened in a place to where like their entire family was there upstairs. And then this was like happening downstairs. And he was like, they just feed you drinks, the constant, the whole time. I'm 18, 19, 20, whatever, or however old she was. But she's like, they're feeding you drinks and all this stuff. And she's like, anyways, I don't remember the young lady's name, but the way that she detailed it, she tried to highlight it and say, like, this isn't necessarily anything anybody wants. It's just the kind of like the way that these parties and everything was set up. It was set up in a way to where, like, let's say she was like, because she talked to somebody about a big name celebrity when it happened from somebody else, and they're like, oh, is it a problem? Like, or not, is it a problem? Like, well, if you want to leave, we can leave. I'll get you a ticket to leave. He's like, but you're a model, right? Yeah, okay, well, let me go and talk to some people, and then so you get sucked back into it because it's like these people have this type of status that can give you something in return. And then she said, next thing you know, she's like, she mentioned some other things that happened too. And she's like, she's like, if I met Diddy, I wouldn't remember.
I think I heard somewhere that, they have a specific bottles for
I've heard that
the models. You know what I mean? Like, these are for them. These are the ladies' drinks right here. Everybody else, we drink these over here.
Yeah. It's I wouldn't, based upon everything that I've seen, some of the stuff, it's just crazy, all the stuff that's coming out. So,
yeah.
All right. So
Denzel Washington said, leave the party 30 minutes before the devil gets there.
Yeah.
So Macklemore was dropped from Vegas Music Festival after controversial comments at pro-Palestinian concert.
Did he say F America?
So he performed his song Hinds Hall. I don't know if you guys have seen it, but it's a pro-Palestinian song. It went super kind of crazy viral.
Yes.
Hinds Hall praises the anti-Israel protests that took place on college campuses, is what this says. Throughout the last academic year, the title references Hamilton Hall, a Columbia University academic building which protesters barricaded themselves into in April against, the genocide that is happening in Palestine. The sentiments F America here are in relation to America's support of Israel as Israel commits genocide. And so when Macklemore says F America, it's saying F what America is doing right now and their participation in this. Guys, got any thoughts on that?
Yeah, it could be taken a certain way because he didn't complete the statement. And you already know how people are going to twist things regardless. So if he's saying,
especially during this election cycle,
F America, as an American, I can't say that I would say that myself, F America. Although there are some organizations and some Americans that are supporting what Israel is doing to Palestine. It's not everybody as a whole. It's not America as a whole.
I would push back on that. And I would push back because when you say F America, you're not saying F citizens. Like, you're not saying American citizens. You're saying
the power establishment.
The establishment of America and the American government, and both the Democrats and Republicans party are pro-Israel. They're anti that. So it's like, that's what he's saying there. So to me, I mean, he's not saying like, screw Americans. He's like, no, the establishment of America is supporting this genocide.
Man,
so.
As a black man, I mean, I can't say I don't feel the same way that he does sometimes. You know what I mean? As a black man in America, I share that same sentiment. You know what I mean? But I just got back from out of the country like a couple of weeks ago, man, and it gave me a whole new appreciation for being here. You know what I mean? Living here.
Yeah, it will wake you up when you go somewhere else.
Yeah, so I definitely have an appreciation for being an American, but at the same time, like the politics and things that go on here, man, I understand why somebody would say something like that. Yeah. Would I say something like that on that grand of a stage when my livelihood is tied to it? I don't know if I would do that, but
I don't know. Yeah.
It's easy for that to be misinterpreted, though.
Yes,
that's the thing.
Because if he just said that's a blanket statement, at the end of the day, somebody else has to explain that when you say F America, I'm not saying F the citizens, F everybody that's in America. I'm saying F the actual system, the government. You have to be specific because people are going to lead with what they want to lead with.
For sure.
That.
But what and it's not a one-on-one comparison, but it's just like Black Lives Matter, and you have to explain that to white people that it doesn't mean that only Black Lives Matter. It's just like, we're just saying that this matters over here, and I feel like that's really the sentiment too. And sometimes when you make statements like this, what happens is people actually do talk about it. You
got to be clear and concise when you say something like that too, though, because that can easily be misconstrued. You know what I mean? So.
But at the same time, like, he's doing this specifically
at a concert for these people that are here.
Right after he does a song called Hinds Hall, which is about being pro-Palestinian and anti-genocide. So it's like,
he's standing on business then.
The headline don't say that, though.
The headline doesn't say that. No.
Some people are probably gonna be upset when I take this angle, and that's fine because that's what we do here. We don't have any political connects. No, we don't have any industry connects. But I mean, that's how good it is to be a white man and be able to say things like this. And quite honestly, I don't think his career is affected in the short term, but it won't be in the long term.
That's real.
I mean.
Well,
Colin Kaepernick.
It is Israel. It's different.
Colin Kaepernick said, hey, police need to do better, essentially, and I'm kneeling on behalf of that. And he didn't play football ever again.
Yeah.
If you really break down what he said and how he could have articulated it better. Colin Kaepernick, to me, like I said, I supported him and I understood where he was coming from, but he partly. Did you ever have a friend in high school or maybe college or just maybe in your adult life who turned his life over to the Lord and like they was just really gung ho about it, and like sometimes maybe they might have said like you might have been just doing something in your regular day. It was like, you going to hell. It's like, hey, calm down, Chief. I felt like that's kind of how Colin Kaepernick was when he discovered a real ultra level of blackness and anti-establishment. Like I could understand where he said, okay, he was going to, sit down for the national anthem. Then somebody pulled him to the side, and said, hey, kneeling would be more respectful. And that came from somebody who was in the military.
Well, apparently he asked them.
Yeah.
Like he was the one that was proactive about that.
But once again, we talked about in previous shows about how people don't ask follow-up questions.
Right.
And, if you wanted to talk to Colin or, even the person that he spoke to who was in the military, you'd be interested in follow-up questions. But when you were just interested in what you thought was disrespect to the military.
The witch hunt.
Exactly. And then, you get into like wearing the pig socks. And I'm like, all right, man, I get where your sentiment comes from.
It was kind of performative. It got performative at a certain point, especially when they offered him a chance to get back in the NFL and do the workout. And then he moved the location.
And showed up with a Kunta Kinte shirt. I was like,
that kind of was the straw that I was like, okay, I'm cool on this.
But
situation.
That's, not to just, too much on Colin Kaepernick, but I just feel like, okay, Macklemore has the complexion to go ahead and make these statements, because if you notice, what rapper, mainstream or underground, has said anything about what's going on in Palestine? I mean, other than maybe like Immortal Technique,
Yeah, some underground people,
you know,
sure.
or you know, and it's so hard because once again, I talk about follow-up questions because it's like people are like, oh, well, what about Hamas? And then when I try to explain, well, Hamas is not in the West Bank. And then when I say there's a difference between Zionism and anti-Semitism, it's so layered, and people just want to move in black and white. Yeah. And it's so hard to have these conversations with people who don't like do any research. They just and mind you, there's things that I don't know. I find out new things every single day, but all I know is when I look at, you know, the video that is somehow snuck out and what they're doing. You know, this is, you know, Benjamin Netanyahu is not going to, history is not going to favorably look upon him because these are war crimes at this point.
No, they've been war crimes.
You know,
well, the stuff that's happened in Lebanon, the cell phones blowing up in people's hands. Like, so
it's to the point. But once again, getting back
peepers or whatever they were
to Macklemore. Like I said, I think if he's black, he doesn't beat Kendrick at the Grammys. But if he's black, he's not able. This would be the end of his career.
You think?
I don't think so, because we had an individual by the name of Muhammad Ali that kind of took the same stance, and it didn't end him. Now, he did do a bid and came out.
Took away his prime years, though.
But he at the end of the day, he's still the greatest, Muhammad Ali. Yeah. He came out and still represented, but it did not kill him to the point where he couldn't be seen. It actually made him a bigger person.
Mm-hmm. Made him a martyr.
Yeah.
Same way that it did Colin Kaepernick, though.
Well, Colin Kaepernick is different because Colin Kaepernick, to his point, the follow-up question, he didn't have a follow-up answer.
Okay.
Muhammad Ali did.
Muhammad Ali was, you know, is you know, for all of the, you know, everybody was like, yeah, I support Colin. Doug, why don't you? We need to hear from you. Yeah. We don't need to hear from your girlfriend. We don't need to hear from people you know. Mm-hmm. We needed to hear from you.
Yeah.
And I just, like I said, I know this is where what I'm saying is tad controversial and is going to have people feeling some type of way. But, you know, I don't feel like this will hurt Macklemore like it would a mainstream African-American reporter, you know, anybody who's not white.
I don't know.
Now, mind you, like when
it's a little different, though.
It might. Now, mind you, I don't know. In the next 5 years, public sentiment might turn around, and everybody be like, "Wow, we really missed on that one. How did we let this go on?" But it's just so hard when you see that like nobody on either side of the aisle really wants to take this on.
I think that's my point, though. I think that specifically is my point. Is that the difference with, like, when you talk about Colin Kaepernick and Black Lives Matter? At least liberals and the Democrats like to pretend that they care to an extent, right? Mm-hmm. With the Israeli situation and the Palestinian situation, both Democrats and Republicans are one and the same. And you see it with, like, across the board, to where Democrats are even, like, when Rashida Tlaib comes out and says stuff, or any of the what they call the women, the crew, or what you know what I'm talking about.
I know exactly.
They call them something, right?
They have a name for, but they, you know, that included Cori Bush, who AIPAC got rid of.
Yeah. But my point is like, outside of like a handful of small, you know, like actual progressives, both parties are pushing back and the silence is, like, to silence them is pretty serious. Mm-hmm. So I wouldn't be surprised. Like, this is the one thing that I think a white man could potentially do that could potentially get him somewhat canceled, is be anti-Israeli or appear anti-Israeli, not anti-Jewish, anti-Israel.
It's so hard for people to figure out.
And to be pro-Palestinian, to not want them to be, you know, killed. Mm-hmm. I think that's the one thing that potentially, I feel like that's the one, that's a little bit of nuance there that I think is a little bit different. But obviously he still has, you know, white privilege in America and all that other stuff. But I feel like it's a little bit different when we talk about the Israeli and Palestine thing. So, well,
yeah, I mean, I was talking to, I can't remember, I think I was talking to somebody in my family about what could really hurt Kamala on election day. And I said, you know, when you watch the Democratic National Convention, everybody, they brought out you know, the black contingent, they brought out the Hispanics, they brought out the gays, but you know who did they not bring out? They did not bring out the Middle Eastern Arab community. They had basically no say so, because they would have been called to the carpet on being,
anti-Semitic,
you know, for rolling. Yeah. So, quote unquote. You know, Kamala's going to need Michigan to win.
Mm-hmm.
And what people forget is there's a large Arabic, Middle Eastern community. And it's not even if they vote for Trump, it's just that they stay home.
Mm-hmm.
If they say, look, neither one of these parties are for me, they're not addressing anything that I feel is important. I got people over there, that could very much hurt. I'm looking at the map, and I'm like, Donald Trump is going to be president again.
I don't think so at all.
Yeah,
between Georgia,
I said it. I
think it's a wash.
I did say that.
She may not get to 271
before Kamala was the one being the nomination for the Democratic Party. I did say that Trump would win this next election. Now I think it's going to be up in the air. I can't definitively say either one of them are going to win this election.
I pretty strongly feel like Donald Trump is self-imploding right now for his own base. Even maybe not this. The MAGAs they're a cult. They're going to be whatever they're going to be. But the conservatives, he's imploding, and it's.
I don't think
I've
so,
witnessed
though,
it.
man. I think even
they
though
don't care.
They don't care. They want a Republican in office, and if that's their only option, they gonna put him in office.
Look, the fact that like the
conservatives, yes, but the moderates, I don't think so.
Just the fact that, okay, first of all, they changed the rules in Georgia to where the ballots have to be counted by hand. Okay. So that means if it comes down to Georgia, we're not going to know who's president of the United States till maybe Thanksgiving. All right. And then, okay, in Nebraska, they're trying to do winner take all. They're trying to change these rules about 40 days before the election. And they're trying to sneak in all these other little things and they're only things that could benefit Donald Trump. And there's nobody there to stop him because you have a Supreme Court,
You have to tell him no.
Yeah. who's not going to tell him no. These next 40 days are going to be very interesting.
Yeah, 40 days and 40 nights.
It's not going to be pleasant.
Yeah.
I think what Macklemore has said is going to come up more than once. I don't think this is just another thing. The Marcellus Williams situation in Missouri, it's going to be like, what happened there? Rest in peace to him.
Yes, I mean it's par for the course when it's election time. Though I honestly think that even with Macklemore saying that, again, we talk about the political machine, the politics of America. They're all for Israel, but when you look at, if you get on the ground and start asking people, it's a mixed barrel of who people support and who they don't.
Yeah.
When it comes to Israel and Palestine. So I don't think that this is necessarily going to cancel him. Because he's not a political artist.
They ain't got the
power.
power.
What I'm saying? He doesn't have to go perform in front of these politicians and things like that. He's going to perform in front of his fans who could care less about what the government thinks of Macklemore.
Yeah.
But
so I don't see him losing.
But the people that own the venues.
And he got dropped. He did get dropped from another festival.
Yeah,
that's
that's where the power is.
The money,
you know what I mean?
Yeah, so
because they don't want they don't want to touch this. Even if they feel like Israel is wrong, they can't say it because they just don't. Right now, it's the same on both sides of the aisle. And it's like they're like, let's just not touch it because I don't want to deal with this right now.
Yeah.
I don't. If you're looking for courage for these people, you might as well forget it.
Yeah, it's not there. Even Kamala, she's
once again like this. And
I want a ceasefire, but that's all she'll say.
Yeah, and that's another reason why I say Donald Trump has a shot, because if the young people on these college campuses say I'm not going to show up for Kamala, it's that's a big deal. So that's going to be Trump's end, is like people staying home. Like people had to come out in record numbers to beat him last time. And
but
there's
the
nothing.
Popular vote doesn't win the election.
Exactly. But at the same time, like you got to realize Donald Trump received more votes in the last election than any Republican nominee for president ever.
And Joe Biden still beat him. That means people came out. They weren't particularly on fire for Joe Biden, like I wasn't, but I was voting against Donald Trump. I'm not even gonna lie. Well, yeah. Shouts to Macklemore.
Yeah. Shout out to this segment will probably be demonetized. It's all good.
Yeah. Thanks to our partners. Dr. Coleman of Coleman Dental is our go-to dentist. He's a longtime Indianapolis arts and music supporter located right in Broad Ripple. Our good friends at Indie CD and Vinyl operate one of the best record stores in North America. Shop new and used in their site or visit them in person. And the best way to support the New Old Heads is to visit our Patreon and become a member. All details on newoldheads.com. Her saying, I want to take us back to this classic space in hip hop and just remind people that the traditional roots of where it started. Do you feel like she is like embodying that with the music that you've heard from her recently? Do you feel like she's doing something in any type of different way than anybody else is?
I think so.
Yeah.
We talked about just effort.
Yeah.
We talked about people actually caring about, lyrics and trying to actually say something. And, and this is where, I caught flack when we reviewed that first song, the one with the jackhammer, where as much as I heard the talent and I wasn't mad at the wordplay, I was just like, what I heard was, and Brother Tonight, maybe you can kind of relate to this. It's like when you're in the clubs and you hear women always talking about useless things, it's hard for you to you hear somebody with talent talking about those same useless things and think this is something special.
Or was it more so the visual?
I mean, I wasn't so much worried about the visual. It was really, I was listening to the lyrics, and so like, that's where like when I first heard it, and once again, I didn't realize, but I had heard Doechii's music before. It just didn't stand out to me because she was doing stuff with, nothing against JT from the City Girls, but it was just like, if I see you rapping with JT's from the City Girls, this is nothing special to me.
But before that, that's what I was actually going to touch on when he said that, was her style was different compared to what this album is.
Yeah.
Like, it was more so, even though it's still abstract, it was more abstract, so to speak. So it wasn't really like she's embodying like the elements of hip hop as far as her bars are concerned, her choice of beats and things of that nature, her lyrics. Even when you had said you didn't like it, when she was talking about the bullshit club stuff,
yeah,
I could still hear in her that she had a for real rap voice. It wasn't the same as was Suki. It wasn't like hearing Sukiyana or even Sexy Red. It didn't sound the same to me, although the content was the same. It was just put together differently.
Yeah, when I listened to it, I could definitely hear that she didn't sound like any other woman rapper out. Like even like the bigger women that are out there, like Meg and maybe Nikki. Nikki's super dope, but like Doechii was like very polished, is what I heard, and I was like, okay, she's playing with it.
Yeah. But even when I hear, this is the thing, sometimes you have to hear a project in its entirety, and you're like, oh, this makes sense the way it's put together and the way it's sequenced. And so like when I hear the entire album or mixtape, because those are the games that these.
Yeah, that's what it is.
Yeah, whatever. I'm like, okay, this makes sense to me. I can admit I didn't hear or see the entire vision because it was presented to me in a segmented way. You present me the entire vision and this makes sense. And I've told people, like, I don't even listen to hip hop like that about this record.
Right.
It was refreshing to me, but at the same time, I felt like I've heard this before. You know what I mean?
From whom?
Missy. You know what I mean? It was like,
that's a great comparison.
Yeah, it was like, this is like if Missy just came out today,
this is what she would make.
This is what she would sound like. You know what I mean? So
I can see that she's a far better rapper than Missy.
I would say that.
Yeah,
that's why I kind of compared her to Tyler the Creator, because as far as her styles and things that she's trying, to me, it aligns with him. But I can kind of see as far as
I
Missy,
can see that too,
because even the visuals are kind of like
out there
Missy stuff. Yeah, I can see that.
From the photo shoots and all this, was like, so I've seen this before, but it's not bad. It's a refreshing because it stands apart from all the coochie rap that I hear.
Yeah, I'm not mad at that at all.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, I mean, but also when she says, I want to take it back to the boom bap and the roots of rap, what does that mean to her as opposed to what, she's 26, I believe it says.
Yeah.
What does that mean to her at 26 as opposed to what it means to me at 47?
Yeah. It could, boom bap to her could be Good Kid, Mad City.
Exactly.
It could be early Tyler. It could be,
was she listening to Pharaoh Monch Internal Affairs? Did she gone back to that? And
maybe,
was she listening to DOS Effects? They want effects. Like you can go through levels of this and what you consider to be, I want to get that feeling back from hip hop. You talk to somebody of a certain age, you ask them what's old school, and they'll say Good Kid, Mad City.
I think the one thing that I appreciate about her the most is simply that, and we talked about this jokingly a few weeks ago, but you can just tell that she cares when she makes music. And a lot of the music that you're, that we reference to, when we're talking about the quote unquote coochie rap, if you will, and stuff like that. That's my biggest issue with a lot of club music. That's my biggest issue with a lot of the music that is popular nowadays, is that nobody seems like they're trying. And when I listen to her music, it sounds like she flexed on the videos we were reacting to and did a whole bunch of different styles, right? She can do all of it, but she does it in a creative way. But to me, I can tell when somebody cares when I listen to them, and
There's
I can
effort.
and I can hear it. And so when I hear her music and I hear what she's done and everything that I've seen her do so far, and again, I haven't heard the project yet, but she cares. And that's one of those things that it's crazy that's like how low the bar is at this point. But,
hey, man.
but that's,
Look, I think part of it is like we're also just used to this. There's this culture of like, yo, I'm not really a rapper. I'm a hustler. I'm just trying to get this money.
Yeah, nobody wants to say that they're a rapper anymore.
Yeah, and it's like when I listen to Doechii, no, she's trying to be not just a rapper, but an MC, somebody who is able to command a certain level of lyrical dexterity on the microphone and say. And when she says, I'm better than you, it's not about her having more money. It's not about her having more status or more followers. She's saying I'm better than you because like she's a better rapper than you.
Not how good her coochie is.
Better artist.
She's a better art. Like she's not a unlike some of these other, slash fighter, stripper fight rap, coochie rap, whatever. Like she's not what I consider to be a content creator. Yeah. She is an artist. Yeah. Some of the rest of you, what I'm saying, that you only have so much time left as it is.
Yeah.
Hey, man, it's TDE, man.
I mean, yeah, exactly.
At the end of the day,
get quality product from them.
Yeah, they don't miss as far as talent is concerned. But to your point about how she cares about the rap. She cares about the music. Essentially, it's like a rhapsody. But those type of artists don't get the credit they deserve. I think she's in a position that she can transcend, though, because she was just featured on the MTV Video Awards performing with Katy Perry, right?
Yeah.
Which is a pop song.
Super pop.
But essentially, I mean, Kendrick has been on super pop songs. Drake, of course, has been on
That's all he
super pop songs. I mean, you get to a certain place in your career. I mean, the Clips were on pop songs.
Yeah.
I would just hope with the Katy Perry look and like anybody who can get that level of look and get on MTV and maybe run it up a little bit as far as their exposure, I can't fault them.
No, you can't be mad at that.
But what you can get seduced by is like, oh, I got this. Let me do another one. Let me do. I mean, like, and I know people, a lot of time we all have talked about how talented Nicki is. But I think she fell so far into doing these pop records.
Spaceships.
She went Euro.
She was crazy.
Yeah, and to the point where like, yo, Nicki, we want you to come back. We want you to do what we know you can do. I don't want that to happen to Doechii to where like, okay, it's Katy Perry this week, and then it's, I don't know, some Eurostep record next week to where it's like, okay, well, what about the joint that we just got from you? Are we going to get an extended version of Florida Water? That's what I need. You know what I'm saying? So I don't need to hear you on. Now, mind you, once again, I'm a 47-year-old male rap fan. So like you may not be thinking about me because you get a look with Katy Perry to where you get. But again, I don't know who Katy Perry's audience is anymore. So like,
and Migos did a song with Katy Perry.
Yeah,
Juicy J had one.
Yeah.
So, one of Snoop's biggest looks is California Girls with Katy Perry. But, mind you, that was like 13, 14 years ago at this point. So I don't know. I know there's some other pop stars who've come along since then. But I want Doechii to remain. I know, like, what is she going to care about what I got to say? I just want to remain focused because I hear the talent. I want more of what you gave us in this first mixtape.
Installment. Installment.
Yeah, I want more of that. I mean, don't get me wrong. Shout out to Katy Perry for holding that situation down. But I don't want to hear you do a whole bunch of songs of Katy Perry. I don't want to hear Katy Perry on your first project.
Hip hop doesn't want that.
Yeah.
Well, maybe she's alluding to her going back to the roots because obviously that song was already done when she did this interview.
Yeah.
So maybe she's saying that I'm going to stick to what I'm doing over here, but if I got opportunity to get this over here too, because I mean that doesn't do anything but add to her fan base. Essentially, there's more people checking on her,
but
checking for her at the end of the day.
But this thing is the pop segment. They come and snatch people like this for their credibility. That's what happened with Nicki.
Oh yeah,
like they was like, oh, Nicki's. It's not about giving them credit. Them giving us something in hip hop. They'll come and do that and get somebody like Doechii, or when they came and got Nicki, to give them credibility.
Well, Nicki did a whole album like that though.
Well,
they might have had a joint here and there in it that was for real hip hop, but like you said, there was a moment in time where that's all Nicki was doing.
It's a line.
She wasn't
Monster.
She wasn't getting the awards and accolades. She was getting like the BET award every year, things of that nature.
She was getting the
but
Billboard.
She never won
a Grammy. She never won a Grammy. And
you know what I'm saying?
And like that's what it sounds crazy, but I'll just say it because I say crazy stuff on the show. I said, look, Nicki did everything the white folks asked her to do, and they still didn't give her the award. They still didn't give her the one that she wanted. I mean, but at the same time, it must have burned her up because as soon as Cardi B got on, they gave her one, and then as soon as Meg got a chance, they gave her 3.
That's wild.
And then as soon as Doja got on, she got one. So Doja, Meg, Cardi all got Grammys, and Nicki ain't got one.
That's crazy.
Well,
yeah. That's why
crazy.
That's why she's got so much spite. That's why she's
mad.
But so when I see her jump out of the window, I kind of get it.
But did she have anything that's quality enough to
Cardi
obtain
B?
that?
No, she did. She had things that were quality enough to garner her a Grammy. Definitely. Now, as far as
in the space that they give Grammys for,
as far as what I'm listening to, I'm not riding around bumping Nicki Minaj. That's just not me.
Okay.
Cardi
but she has a whole section.
I mean, Cardi shouldn't have won.
Cardi shouldn't have won. Yes, Cardi did beat Nipsey Hussle.
Come on, man.
But how much of that do you think was the actual quality of her project versus the politics? I think it was
more politics.
Cardi B?
Yeah, I think it was the politics. Nipsey didn't have a whole campaign to follow him the way that Cardi did I think
but
all
Nicki
of those Grammy
did,
things.
though.
Nicki is signed to it's Cash Money, YMCMB, whatever. It's still Universal Records.
Yeah.
Has Wayne won a Grammy?
Nicki has he won a Grammy?
I don't know.
No, I don't think so.
Well, Snoop hasn't won a Grammy either.
Yeah,
Nas didn't win one until like 2 or 3 years ago.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think a lot of that is just a political game, man.
But she was playing the game,
No,
and they
she
didn't
really
give it to
was
her.
though. And she actually had the thing about Nicki is Nicki had
All the
songs
think
that
about
could have
all the
been in
collaborations
different.
she did.
They could have been in different categories. Her album.
She could have got something for something else. Okay,
Exactly.
maybe she could have got a Grammy for Super Bass.
Yes.
That's probably
Okay, I'll
why
give
she
you
makes does so many genres. She's just chasing that Grammy.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
That Super Bass joint was very, very popular.
It
too.
was and terrible.
Yeah.
The starships and whatever.
Yeah,
that
like
was
she got on
terrible.
there and made the funny faces and got the plastic surgery and did songs about Bud Light. She did everything them folks asked her to do,
and
they still didn't give her what she probably deserved.
They did her like they did Little Richard and give her nothing.
Yeah, and they just took it and made a new one.
Yeah,
Love to see it.
yeah,
But yeah, Doechii.
God bless.
yeah.
her.
Back to Doechii.
Yeah, let's
Stay focused.
keep giving
baby.
us the good quality stuff that we've seen and heard.
Hey,
And
keep following the Kendrick route.
yeah, there we go.
You know, there's the
For
Kendrick
the
route.
TDE, the TDE
Focus on the
formula
art.
is very good.
Yeah.
Focus on the art.
Like Kendrick did a very good job of like he balanced that line really well. So I appreciate that.
He'll give you some pop essentially, but then he always focused on the art. His music
The
was
total
always
package.
his music was always important, and then he always focused on the show.
Look, he'll give you Bad Blood with Taylor Swift, but he don't put that on his album.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's for you.
Yeah,
Yeah, don't put it on. Don't touch me.
that's when Taylor Swift was like, "Let me go get a little of this credibility." That's what I'm talking about.
All right.
I ain't mad.
All right. When the alligator bites, you bite it back, and the bites never heal. So yeah, shouts to Doechii. It's time for the Southern hip hop album
Get the people
draft.
going.
Yeah.
Let's randomize. Let's see who's going to be where. Brother to the Night is first.
No.
Jay Diff is second. Jay Moore is third, and I am fourth. See what we got here. So, without further ado, all right, Brother to the Night, you're up first. Who do you have? Southern Rap Album Draft.
I could go one way, but I'm gonna go ahead and start off with Outkast AT Aliens.
All right. That's fair. That's fair. That's fair.
Very good. All right, Terry. I think I know where you're going here.
Do you? I don't think you know.
Maybe I'm wrong.
I don't know, man. Since I didn't get it last time, I'm gonna take Thug Motivation.
I knew it. I knew that was coming.
All right, Jay Moore, you're up with 2.
Project Pat, Mr. Don't Play.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. That's a good one.
I like Getty Green more though, but yeah.
Hey, Nah, man. Mr. Don't Play got.
I'm trying to think.
Mr. Don't Play got Life We Live.
Yeah, okay, you're right. That's the one.
I'm gonna do Outkast, Equipment Eye,
Okay.
and then I'm gonna follow it up with Juvenile 400 Degrees.
Ooh,
Ooh, good one.
That was a real good one.
Jay Moore.
Soul Food by the Goody Mob.
That's what I was going with, Nick.
Who's it?
Jay Diff. Yep.
8-Ball MJG on Top of the World.
Okay.
Okay, Brother Tonight got 2.
Master P Ice Cream Man.
Okay.
Nobody ever mentioned it last time. I'll go ahead and give me Lil John Crunk Juice.
Yeah.
Ooh.
All right.
E, right?
It is on you.
I just bad.
I'm telling you, man, these drafts is hard, man. It's hard. I think I'm going to do
about bad.
Ghetto Boys.
Which one? Coming in?
Yeah. I can't. Hold on. I'm gonna have to look up the album title. I can see the cover.
We can't
be stopped. Yeah.
Okay. Jay Moore.
UGK Riding Dirty.
Oh, that's what I was coming with.
Yep.
That's what I was coming with.
All right. I'm gonna do Little Brother.
Okay.
Minstrel Show, and then I'm gonna follow it up with Killer Mike rap music. I'm gonna do a little bit modern.
Scarface the Diary.
That was my. Yeah, I should have done that one.
Yeah. I was leaning towards the Diary, but I was like, I'm gonna just group them all in and get just the Ghetto Boys. We can't be stopped. So, with my next pick in this here draft, I'm gonna have to go Master P Ghetto Dope.
Man, it's quiet in here.
Yeah.
It's see, everybody took mine.
Okay. Let's go with UGK Dirty Money, and then he took 101. He took 101.
This is much harder than
Give me Lil Wayne, The Carter.
Okay.
We get 3-6 Mafia when the smoke clears.
That's what I was. I had it and forgot it after he said it.
Did I tell you last week? I told
What's
you
the album?
drafts.
When the smoke clears. 66, 61. When the smoke
2001.
clears.
All right.
That was 2000.
Was it 2000? Okay.
We got Jay.
Guerrilla Warfare by the Hot Boys.
Yeah, man.
I think I'm gonna do. That's the one I'm gonna do. I think. All right. I am going to do trap music.
Great choice.
We're gonna do a bonus round.
I don't know the track titles.
Running out of time, sir.
Oh, I'm just doing what y'all do.
He's like, I'll edit just make sure it doesn't look like I'm wasting time.
I think I'm gonna have to do Icons.
Wow. Get crunked up.
No,
He's the only person I know that bought that album.
I did buy that album.
Wow.
Yeah, I don't know.
Time
Kurt was here.
I don't know. Do what?
Kurt was here.
So
Forever
I
and a
was
Day.
choosing between Quit Was Here and that one and Return of Forever.
Yeah.
But I think I'm gonna do Quit Was Here because that's the one that I actually listen to the most. So I'm just gonna roll with that. I actually listen to Cadillactica more than all of them, but I don't think it's probably.
No, it's not. Cadillactica is not.
I just, I like to throw out the wild card in the bonus round. Okay, I'm gonna just go with my wildest of wild card.
Okay.
Nasty as They Want to Be by the Two Live Crew.
Okay. Now that's not.
I can do it. I can dig it. I can dig it. And I'm just going because I cannot have a list without having Southern Playalistic Cadillac music on it, man. Because the South got something to say.
Yeah. I was gonna say that, but I was like, That's just too obvious.
It is, but I mean, shit.
Yeah, but it's like it's too necessary.
I didn't want to double up. That's always been my thing. Like I don't want to double up.
No, I didn't get any cast.
Yeah, so
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, I picked Goody Mob, so that's part of why I said, well, no, I can't do two. Being greedy.
Go ahead and give me a Ball and G coming out hard.
Yeah, that's a good one.
It's messed up that they got to the bonus round, but
Yeah.
I mean, it's a toss up, man. A-Ball and MJG actually has so many good joints.
Yeah.
Like even with UGK, it's hard for me to pick an album with them sometimes.
Nah, Ryan Dirty is the one.
Ryan Dirty and
that's the one that had
Super
murder
Tight.
on it. Yeah,
Super
super
Tight.
tight. Yeah.
Yeah. Because I remember I would come home from school and put Super Tight in and play it and play it and play it and play it. You know what I'm saying? Now Ryan Dirty had more joints on there, but that Super Tight was hard too, though.
Man, if I could have talked about stuff for me, particularly, man, CeeLo Green and his Perfect Imperfections, that was one of them ones.
Nah, that was one of them ones.
I was debating on whether to put, of all things, Fiend. There's one in every family.
That was a good one.
Yeah.
I almost said
Mac.
true to the game.
Me too. Yeah.
But I already said Mr. Ice Cream Man.
Hey man, I wanted to put the Teddy Club of Thugs album on there with Player White.
Oh, that was the one.
There was so much heat on that record.
Big Business.
Did Mac Shell Shock?
Yeah.
You know, I forget. If I went back, I probably would have chose Mystical's Unpredictable.
Ooh.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, well.
Unpredictable was a very good one.
Crunk Juice would have got off and I went to Riding Dirty or that 3-6, both of them, man. They was right there at the top of my head. And then by the time it came back to me, I forgot it.
Well,
This is something else for the internet to get into it on. They're going to say, y'all don't know about the South. Y'all didn't put no Player Fly.
Y'all didn't put no Luda on there.
Oh, yeah.
I thought about
it too. I thought about it too.
Yeah, word of mouth.
word of mouth. I thought about it. Yeah.
Somebody going to be like, you didn't put nobody who was in Murder
Really,
Dog.
people be fronting on Ludacris, man. I know that this sparked the whole situation with us on the show.
Yeah.
And this ain't a shot at my guy Spools or nothing. But Ludacris was an amazing MC.
He just didn't.
And he was on top of the game when he was
his
out.
music didn't age well,
Nah,
man.
that's true.
You think so?
Yeah, man. Like, when I go
Until
back.
it got to Theater of the Mind. Theater of the Mind is still good.
But them first two records, I like them because of nostalgia.
Yeah.
But when I
Because you was outside.
Yeah. But when I listen to the records now, I'll be like,
you know, a
This
song
ain't really-
that was super popular, but I just remember it was the worst first impression for me was "What's Your Fantasy." I never liked that song because it sounded like I talked to this my homegirl about it. She's like, "You don't like that song?" It's like it sounded like
knock off Timberland to me.
no, it wasn't
Well,
a
it was
production.
Timberland influenced.
It wasn't a production. It was like
Bangladesh.
it seemed if to me
But he
it
was
felt like
rocking.
it sounded like some dude who had
Teflon
never
Don.
had sex talking to some girl who had never had sex, and those are the things that they would tell each other back and forth. And I don't know, something about it was like, this is corny.
Waterfalls was cold though.
No, Waterfalls kind of was in that same vein, but I liked
It
that
was,
record.
but
But then like Southern Hospitality came out, and I was like, okay, I get it.
I like Sex Room.
yeah, he had one of them joints on every album.
Yeah.
I said rap music. I meant to put Michael.
Oh, okay.
I meant to put Michael.
Are you going back reneging?
I said the wrong thing. I meant to say Michael. Not like anybody else had rap
I'm just
music.
giving you a hard
That's
time because I actually switched my Carter.
The Carter
to the
from
right
3
Carter,
to 2. Yeah.
Mhm.
That's what I meant to say.
All right, well,
No, that's good. I think we got some all right lists here, man.
because you know what I you know what really made put Mr. Don't Play to the front of my mind is like, you go back and sometimes someone will put out like those source reviews, and they gave Mr. Don't Play 2 mics.
Man,
I think like
people
2.5.
Man, if Mike was here, me and Mike argue about this all the time about how much better
Pastor Troy.
Pastor Troy.
Oh, that's not even for debate
man.
to me.
Project Pat
I am
is
a Project-
killing
I am a
Pastor
Project Pat
Troy.
fan,
When you talk
though.
about an album,
Project Pata.
as soon as you started that album that you
Yeah.
picked, as soon as that beat come on, it was on from there on out.
I can agree with that. But
Yeah.
the thing is, he had a way better production team.
Well,
Hey,
He had a way better production team, man.
Hey.
Troy was that dude, man. Vice
was
versa.
yeah, I ain't taking nothing away from him.
I mean, Trey
but-
was getting beats from Timberland.
One song.
all right,
He had
hey,
two.
man.
Like once he was already on. but like trying to come.
Then No More Playing GA came out like they thought he was
when
going to
I first heard that, I was like, oh.
Nah, it's hard.
Yeah, I'm not taking nothing away from it. But
when I'm talking about a whole album, man, Project Pat.
It's what
this don't play Getty Green back to back. Come on now.
Yeah, man. 12 ounce as a whole back then.
Gangsta Nip. You ain't got no Gangsta Nip on your arm.
Hey.
I used to mess with South Circle.
Yeah, Big Mike was cold.
Okay.
Yeah, something serious.
Yeah.
It's still serious. Both of those are great records.
Yeah.
Gotta get up to get down.
Hell,
I mean, there's always going to be things that we miss when we do these lists.
What was her name? Dirty? Y'all remember Dirty?
Yeah.
They gonna hit the flow.
Man, that album was nice.
The Pimp and the Gangster.
Yeah.
I just remember
from front to back.
Yes.
Was it? Now I have to go revisit it because, like, I remember I saw the visuals. I was like, are they really walking around trying to find their Cadillac? Like, I don't know. Something about it struck my spirit wrong.
Youngbloods had a good album.
Yeah. That first one with U-Way.
Yeah.
That was my joint.
Yeah.
Riding Dirty on 85. Oh my goodness.
Yeah.
Wow.
The Pimp and the Gangster, a classic album.
Yes, it is.
I remember Duty.
I was playing Candyman somewhere, and everybody was looking at me like, "What the hell is this?" I was like, "Man, when this came out."
Listen.
Look, I remember the dude. He had on a fur coat with the thick and thin socks
thick and
on.
thins with some Stacy's.
Yeah,
man. If you had a system back then bumping that, it was going on. Oh damn! The About It soundtrack.
I don't think of soundtracks though.
Man.
You know, because then I could have done
that About It soundtrack was off the hook.
That was one. But if I ain't put
TRU,
if I ain't put that on there, I
didn't do. You didn't do
true.
The Gambino family.
No. Think about the About It soundtrack though, man. He had a song with him, Ballin' G, and UGK.
Sure did.
That's how the album started.
Yes. E40 had a joint on there.
Brother Lynch.
Yeah.
Wow. Yeah.
That's as far as West Coast.
That Bay Area.
Loaded is a classic album that does not get spoken about enough. Brother Lynch Hung's Loaded album was a front to back album, and that was that horrorcore stuff.
Brother Lynch Hung was nice though. The way he did it. Yeah, I still remember that whole verse off of that was on About It. I know that whole song.
Yeah. Situation on Dirty.
Yeah, man. Yeah, that was a good song. Good song.
Well, I think that'll probably wrap up episode 406.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So
give them something to talk about.
Thanks everybody for tuning in to the New Old Heads episode 406. Thanks to Brother to the Night.
Appreciate y'all, man.
Tapping in with us again.
Absolutely.
For Jay Moore, Jay Diff, myself, Lonegevity, and of course, Maja 7th, who's out. We will see you next week, so make sure you tune in. Make sure you become a Patreon member.
Yeah,
David Banner, Mississippi.
Oh, yeah.
Could you put Death of a Pop Star in there? I don't think that was as big as people. I really love
him at Ninth.
Yeah. Technically, it's producer and rapper from there, but that was a personal favorite. I don't know if people really remember that record.
I remember it.
Yeah.
It was good.
I bought the physical.
That Mississippi was cold, though.
Yeah, though.
Yep. So with that being said, become a patron member if you're not, and we will see you next week as always. Goodbye.
In a minute.
Yes, sir.